Right. So Rhineland Specialties we've gotten our start with supplying specialty chemicals for mainly electrolytic bath formulations. So these are engineered coatings for nickel and zinc. Our high purity precursors, which we focus on, supports advanced technologies with a focus on applications that are sensitive to trace metals and need a high degree of control and consistency. So our precursors are metal-based, typically supplied as metal hydrates. And for the area of solution-based technologies, whether it's aqueous or non-aqueous, we focus on areas such as sol gel, which is synthesis of solid materials, for example, like metal oxides, that would use a solution state precursor. Things like colloidal synthesis for nanostructured materials, and then other types of technologies that would need a solution feedstock. So things like spin coating, hydrothermal, solvothermal, thermal spray type technologies. We're also active in formulation chemistry. So for example, precursors for ink formulations, for printable thin film processes, and we also supply functional chemistry for colloidal slurries. So anything in view of a high purity metal source that would fit our supply capabilities, we tend to focus on. Well, we tend to insert ourselves in scale-up development. So it's the what I call the D of R&D. So typically, materials or processes start with research, moves into scale-up development, process development, and those are it's typically the phase where supply chain questions are addressed. Where I'm going to get the material. So sourcing, cost modeling, looking at route selection, specification, customization, regulatory, so things like that. So we work with our customers. It's a collaborative relationship. We look at adapting specific materials to the performance required for the application. And so we support that from scale-up development to commercialization. And that's typically supported by our development and production partners. Well, our business is actually driven more by our customer technologies and the materials that would go into their processes. However, we have recently been promoting a high purity aluminum products from an Australian-based producer, Alpha HPA. And these are, it's a new innovative technology for solvent extraction and refinement for aluminum. And a particular note would be their hydrate salts, specifically aluminum nitrate nanohydrate, which is produced and offered as a 5,9 metals purity material. So what is exciting to us is that this is a material that could be produced and offered commercially in large volume, where typically material of this purity would not be available in large volumes. So it's made in small batches, limited quantities at rather high cost. So this material certainly would be a suitable replacement or viable option for existing applications that require high purity, and it's actually enabling new commercialization of advanced materials. So sustainability and or green technology, certainly it's an important topic these days. So from our part, contributing with products that are low carbon technologies. So the high purity aluminum products are actually produced from a sustainable technology from alpha HPA. So it's a very selective extraction process. It's low emissions, actually zero emissions, and it's a very efficient process where the reagents are 100% recycled. This is versus maybe existing or traditional technologies, which are less efficient, more energy intensive, and generates much more waste. Another area that we have been active in is we have a specialty coating process that we supply a precursor, which is not very efficient, meaning there's just generates too much waste. And so we've been working with one of our partners to develop a recycling process to repurify the waste precursor and then put that back into the process. And so otherwise the precursor would be disposed of. And so this opportunity allows us to repurify and reuse that precursors multiple times. Well, Rhineland is, I would say, a small focus company that is not well known. So, I think our opportunity at the show is to promote our services and capabilities. Our primary focus is on high purity precursors for solution-based technologies and working with companies in their development and commercialization. We also focus on the high purity aluminum products from alpha HPA, and we also have a range of high purity trace metal precursors that we'd certainly also promote.